Hi, my name is Amanda Brewer, and I'm going to talk to you about how I found that it is beneficial for educators to incorporate technology into the classroom. I really did enjoy this assignment. I was able to research different ways of how educators can show students how to use GPS and to learn about geocaching and implementing geocaching into the classroom and into lesson plans for students to learn different forms of navigation and just different forms of technology in general. Geocaching with kids can range from a simple outing like around the campus or playground. You can hide easy to find caches, and teachers can use this to incorporate multi-step lessons in GPS technology, geography, map readings, just using longitude, latitude, different forms of direction. Many caches are educational in nature and are closely linked to regional history or geographical features. Some caches are hidden by children for other children, making these finds especially appealing. Teachers can also incorporate different questions from current lessons into geocaching. Students can find the caches, and the caches can be questions that they answer, educational questions. Geocaching is an excellent scouting activity because it includes orienteering and other outdoor skills. It gets students out of the classroom, outside, doing an activity. It also is a terrific homeschooling activity to incorporate parent involvement in schools. Through this assignment, I found many ways how geocaching is beneficial in the classroom and implementing technology in the classroom. Technology-wise, students will learn how GPS systems work. I feel like it would be important for schools to dedicate the use of their technology departments and get just a couple GPS machines for each classroom. Educators can use it to group students with their peers, and they can work together. And I feel like there's just the possibilities are endless. Students can learn longitude and latitude as well as direction. It would be an idea in the classroom for educators to have time set aside where they can make painted rocks or just clothespins with words on them, or anything to make just something little to make their own cache, or even between classrooms, each classroom can make their own cache and go hide it, and you incorporate the GPS systems in that way, and they can go locate each other's classes, their caches, to see what treasures if they didn't incorporate educational questions into those things, or maybe they're learning about something in particular. They could put in things that they're learning currently into those caches. Students can learn what to do when they find a cache. They include different things that either the students or educators had placed into those caches. They can practice a little CITO, which is cache in, trash out. If there's any trash in the area, they can pick it up and pack it out. Pick it up and clean up the earth, and teach them how to. They can learn recycling, just things that get out and incorporate just the environment into the classroom. It promotes active learning, like I've stated before. Getting out of the classroom, outside, just being active. Students are able to interact with their peers and work together. This introduces new technology into the classroom by incorporating GPS, as I stated before. They learn the coordinates and mapping, and they can also make predictions. Like as they're working with longitude, latitude, they can predict as they go. Well, I feel like it's going to be over by the baseball field, or over by the slide, or make different predictions throughout the process of finding their cache. Like I said before, they learn north, south, east, and west, and it also challenges students, and they like to be challenged. They like to be faced with different obstacles to where they can overcome and see how far where they started and then where they end up as well. So if your students through the process ever ask you, what is geocaching? This is another way to incorporate technology into the classroom, because as a group or individually or as broken up groups, you can do internet research. I've included some websites that I found useful at the end in my citations, but just the geocaching.com site is very, very beneficial. You can set up accounts, show them how to geocache with their families if they want to go with their families, like on vacations. As a class, students can brainstorm questions that they have about geocaching, and you can look them up together. You can make anchor charts. I love anchor charts for visuals. It's something that you can just stick up on the wall for the year, and they can always reference back to that on the questions that they came up with and what you've answered and put on those anchor charts. It's beneficial too to see for the students to look back and see, we researched this as a group and this is what we found. The teacher can watch videos, put that on the projector, read to students on geocaching, answer questions that, like I said, on the anchor charts with students. It's their data. They see that they put that information up there. And then you could use this as a guided learning activity. It's just, I feel like peer interaction, if they are able to talk and you're using technology to get their questions going and get them talking, I always feel like that is beneficial. Geocaching for kids, it can be fun for the whole family. It's for parent involvement. You can use these hunts to introduce your children to new parks, new activities, natural history of your area, or if you're on vacation, you can, like if you're going to the Alamo, you can research you have your Geocache app, you can see what caches are in that area, and if it's beneficial for your kids just to learn about history. It can also make a fun addition to your next vacation. Like I said, you can look up cache locations along highways, roadside parks, near hotels. It makes travel time more interesting, and there's bigger and better things out there than, your small town geocaches. It's important to education. With geocaching, students can learn to work with their peers by using devices that help them use latitude and longitude to determine where a certain object is located. They will have to use map skills like north, south, east, and west to further determine the cache location. Educators can incorporate this active learning into their lesson and use technology to help students advance. It's always important for students to further their education by knowing how things work in general. And when you incorporate technology into the classroom, that's what our world is becoming. Everything is becoming just computers, just technology, GPS, everything. Like, you can't travel without using your GPS now. And so this is just a good way for them to see what's out there in the world and to incorporate that into the classroom for their learning, and it'll really be beneficial for them. As I said before, I feel like groups are very important. I'm an advocate for groups and peer interaction. I've worked in special ed before, and just social skills are extremely important for some children and for some individuals. And you can pair the students into teams of 2 to 3 depending on how many is in your class or how many devices you have. Each group gets a GPS to use when locating their cache. The teacher can set out or hide a certain amount of geocaches around the school campus or around the playground. Educators can hide questions that the students must answer upon finding their specific cache. So you can generate the caches on history questions, science questions, just reading things. Maybe you're reading a book aloud for the week or whatever it may be. You can incorporate those questions into the cache, so it makes it's more fun for the students than just sitting at their desk and just having that worksheet. It breaks the monotony up of being in the classroom, listening to someone talk all day, constantly writing. It gets them out of the classroom, outside, and it makes it very memorable for them. And that is what is so important, is that things stick for them and it's fun for them. And as I said before, students use coordinates to locate their cache, so they're out there getting, they have to interact with each other and figure out if it's this way or that way, or like I said before, they have to make predictions. And it's just the peer interaction and being in groups and learning from each other is very, very beneficial for students. So there are many ways to make geocaching link up to your curriculum. Geocaching can be linked to the curriculum in a lot of ways. So this website that I found lists a few examples that I really liked, that I felt was very beneficial for me in this in my research project. Through literacy, describing what you feel like when you find your first geocache can help develop descriptive writing. Formal writing can be developed by writing to land orders and councils to see if you can hide a cache on their land. Factual and instructional writing can be developed by describing how you find a cache. So afterwards, students can use this in, like, for literacy benefits, describing what they went through, how they felt, how they worked together with their peers in finding their cache, and what they thought about it, if they liked it, didn't like it, how they used their GPS, how they, use directions, mapping, just putting their thoughts down on paper and linking that to literacy. Numeracy and geocaching, it offers a lot of opportunities to reinforce core skills such as direction, orientation, and degrees. GPS is also a great tool for teaching distance and estimation in your school grounds. Through science, it's a useful introduction to studying GPS systems, satellites, and space. Through social subjects, looking at maps and studying the local area is a natural accompaniment to geocaching. Some GPS have topographical maps built into them. So by them being able to see the GPS, see the way the land is, just making those connections with this is what the map looks like, this is what it really looks like, and using that as a tool for landmarks and just navigation in general, finding where they're going by using the latitude, longitude, and what it looks like, what it really looks like on the map and in real life, and incorporating those things. Technology, designing and hiding your own geocache can be very fulfilling. I feel like if the teacher sets out a list of questions for the students that she hides out as a cache, that's great, and it gets them out of the classroom. It gets them out and moving, and not just, it breaks the monotony of being in the classroom, listening to the teacher, doing, putting pencil to paper. That's great, but it gives them something different. It gives them a new way of learning, and it makes it fun and memorable for them. I really enjoyed doing this research project. Here you can find the websites that I use to incorporate some of my information throughout my PowerPoint. They are very good websites that you can go if you want to try geocaching for yourself. You can use the geocaching link, or there are some websites where you can incorporate geocaching into your classroom. One of the websites has a video of a teacher from McKinney, Texas that I really enjoyed watching. It shows the students, paired up with their peers and they have maybe 3 GPS machines that they use to find their caches, and the teacher set out questions for them. A few of them were science questions, but I really found these websites to be important in my presentation. So I really enjoyed this, and I learned a lot, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.